Hi, 8th graders. We are going to talk about Chapter 3, Rocks, in our iBook today. We have been, for the last week and a half, been talking about minerals and properties of minerals and how to identify a mineral based on those properties. And now we are shifting gears to talk about the rocks. This is still geology, but we are just talking about a different category of geology. Remember that minerals make up rocks. So all of these rocks that are in this picture right here are made up of different assortments of minerals. Okay, so you can kind of think of minerals as the baking ingredients and a rock is the finished product, the cookie at the end of it, okay? Rocks are put into different categories based on the environment in which they are created. Okay, and a rock can change different categories throughout its life, just depending upon what happens to it. If it gets rained on and floats down river, it might become a sedimentary rock. If it's exposed to heat and pressure, it would then become a metamorphic rock. If it actually melted and formed lava, it would then become an igneous rock, but we'll talk more about that in chapter 4. All right. Again, it says a rock is a naturally formed, non-living earth material, even if you had pet rocks as a kid, which I did, but I was a kid before toys were ever invented. Rocks are made of collections, sorry for the interruption there. As I was saying, a rock is a naturally formed non-living earth material. Rocks are made of collections of different mineral grains that are held together in a firm, solid mass. So you can see in this rock right here that you can plainly see all of these different minerals that are present within the rock, right? How is a rock different from a mineral? Well, rocks are made of minerals. The mineral grains in a rock may be so tiny that you can only see them with a microscope, or they might be as big as your fingernail or even your finger. So sometimes you can see each of these individual grains and each of these individual minerals really, really easily. And sometimes it just looks like a solid color. And those different mineral grains are not as apparent. And that all depends on how it was formed. Rocks are identified primarily by the minerals that they contained and by their texture, meaning how big the speckles are. You see in this one, you can see the individual minerals are easy to identify. In here, they're kind of all blended together. Each type of rock has a distinctive set of minerals. A rock may be made of grains of all one type of mineral, such as quartzite, or more commonly, rocks are made of a mixture of different minerals. Texture is a description of the size, shape, and arrangement of mineral grains. The kind of cool thing here is that these two rocks, sample 1, the minerals that it contains are plagioclase, hornblende, and pyroxene. And over here, sample 2, which looks totally different than this, is made up of exactly the same minerals. But, as you'll notice, the formation is very different. In this rock, the magma, which was liquid molten rock, cooled really slowly, and here the magma erupted and cooled very quickly. Okay, so that we can infer then that in order for all of these grains, these crystals to form, that the magma has to cool slowly. All right, so picture a volcano. If a volcano erupts and lava oozes outside of the earth, that is going to cool fairly quickly, and you're going to end up with rocks that don't have all of these crystals. Whereas here, if some of that magma cools and hardens underneath the surface of the earth, it's going to cool and harden much more slowly and give these crystals time to grow. An example that we find here in Minnesota is granite, right? We see a lot of granite here in Minnesota, and we also find a lot of basalt here in Minnesota. This is a rock I found on the north shore of Lake Superior. We find these rocks all the time up there. They're found all over here in Little Falls, and then granite is found everywhere here in Minnesota. They are the same type or category of rock. But you can see that they're very, very different. This one has a very, very fine matrix, meaning we can't differentiate between the different minerals. And this one, you can definitely see speckles of different minerals and crystals growing in it. Okay, so this one cooled very, very slowly, and this one cooled very, very quickly. A few rocks are not made of minerals because they're material that does not fit in the definition of a mineral. Remember, minerals have to be non-living and never living. So they're made of inorganic materials. Coal is considered a rock, right? But it's not made of minerals because coal, what is coal made of? Think about that. What's coal made of? If you said dead dinosaur stuff, you're right. Okay, so that was once living. That's an organic material. And so coal is kind of the exception of that. And we'll talk more about coal when we talk about ores in chapter 5. All right, the only thing that I've got for you today is this one question. Okay, so you're going to watch this video in the iBook, chapter 3, How was the Grand Canyon formed? And then you are going to go to your iBook Google Doc under chapter 3, and there's space for one question there. Go ahead and answer that, and you are done for the day. I will talk to you soon.